I'm not sure if it was the pandemic shutting the world down or the whole work from home situation, but lately I've been noticing that a lot of people are dressing a lot more slobbishly than ever before. Now, this video is not to pass judgment. In fact, in this video, I'm going to be going back to the basics and talking about the 9 lazy fashion mistakes that we can all unintentionally make sometimes, and more importantly, I'll be talking about how to avoid them. And I can promise you that if you follow all the tips in this video, you will never look less than put together, and you will certainly never look like a slob. You need to be clean. Take the extra 10 minutes before you go and rinse off. If you have clean clothes on, if you've done your hair and you're wearing makeup, but you smell bad, I'm telling you that people will think you're a slob regardless of how good you look, because body odor is a silent killer. And dousing yourself in perfume or cologne is not a viable solution. Perfume and cologne is supposed to accentuate your natural scent. It is not supposed to mask BO. If you're somebody who sweats a lot, bring some cleansing wipe and some deodorant with you wherever you're going. There is no shame in taking a 4 or 5 minute break to excuse yourself to the washroom to just freshen up. On the same topic, please brush your teeth and floss. Your breath is one of those things that people do not notice, and that's the way it's supposed to be. They will notice though if your breath is bad. They will notice if you have food stuck in your teeth. And so the last thing people will think if you have bad breath and food in your teeth is that you look put together. Now let's talk about nails, because these things don't have to be perfectly manicured. Forget what you see on Instagram and TikTok. You don't have to go to the nail salon every 2 weeks. They just can't be overgrown, and they certainly can't be dirty. If you go out and you buy a nail file and you buy some nail clippers, I promise you that for very minimal spend and very minimal effort, you will be looking much cleaner and you will not be called sloppy because of your nails. The last thing I'm gonna say about being clean is that it's always the little things, and everybody's got a different body. So just take a moment and look at yourself in the mirror. Do you have nose hairs growing out of your nose? Do you have earwax? What is it about you? And just take a few minutes and correct those things, because again, this will pay dividends throughout the rest of your life. Okay, tip number 2, and this one I think is very underrated because not a lot of people do it, but that tip is to clean your shoes. We all know not to go out in a shirt that is dirty with food stains or makeup all over it, but for some reason, people don't give that same respect and attention to their shoes, especially if you're wearing white sneakers and they're all beat up and they have scuffs on them. Instead, just take a few minutes, take a wet wipe, take a disinfecting wipe, and just rub the outside of your shoes and get off some of that dirt and some of that scuff. This will make a huge difference in how people perceive your outfit. Tip number 3, and I hope I don't get any flack for this one, but your undergarments are called undergarments for a reason. They should not be seen. I think this is a very messy look for anybody, girl or guy. Especially for the girlies though, your bra straps should not be visible. There is nothing elegant about this, and there is nothing tasteful about it either. We have so many options in this day and age of the appropriate type of bra, the straps on the bra, so just don't have your bra straps out, please. Now, the worst perpetrator of them all is if your underwear is visible. Woman, if you're wearing a G-string and your strap is visible above your pants, or if the outline of your underwear is very visible through your leggings, it's an inelegant and messy look, and it should be avoided. The same goes for men. We should not be seeing your boxers. If we can see your boxers above your pants, you either need to pull up your pants and get a belt, or you need to get pants that fit you properly, or change your boxers. Whatever it is, undergarments should be under your garments. Enough said. Okay, the next tip is to lint roll your clothing, especially if you have furry friends who like to shed and you have fur on your clothing when you leave the house and you think that's an okay and normal occurrence to happen. I hate to break it to you, but people will look at that and think it is a very sloppy and messy decision that you made. My recommendation here is to just buy a few lint rollers. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at Walmart, and everywhere in between, and just keep them by your front door and make it part of your leaving routine, that every time you're about to go, just do yourself a quick once over and get off any of that pesky cat or dog hair. This is one of those 30-second wins that will significantly improve how people perceive you, and it is very low effort to do. Okay, tip number 5, and I feel like I shouldn't actually have to call this one out, and yet I see it so frequently out in the wild, and that is people wearing mismatching socks. If you are going for a polished, non-slobby look, then matching socks is an absolute requirement as an adult. And if you're one of those people who has a very chaotic, messy sock drawer and you just cannot be bothered to organize it, then my life hack for you is to buy all of the same pairs of socks, and no matter which socks you grab, you're always matching. Okay, tip number 6, and this one's a bit of a bigger one, and that is please wear clothes that fit you. Clothing that fits you will make you look so polished, and conversely, clothing that doesn't fit you, whether it's too big or too small, it will take your outfit from looking good to looking sloppy. Now, I'm not recommending that you run out and totally reinvent your wardrobe, but what I am recommending is that as you go forward and make fashion purchases, when you're buying shirts, your shoulders should line up with your shoulders. They shouldn't be ridiculously oversized where the shoulder seam is sitting halfway down your arm. And also you shouldn't be buying button-ups that are pulling at the buttons when you move your arms. And you also shouldn't be buying pants or wearing pants that are hard to zip up, because not only does it look ridiculous, it looks uncomfortable. And that goes for old clothes as well. If you have pieces that just don't fit you and they've been collecting dust in your closet or you still wear them, I'm not saying you need to get rid of all of these things, but just mentally designate those clothes as home clothes, and so it's just you who sees them. Wrinkles are the #1 perpetrator of making you look like a slob, even if you're in perfectly washed clothes. If you have a very, very wrinkly shirt or dress on, it just takes your outfit from good to mediocre. Generally speaking, the only fabrics that should have wrinkles in them is linen, and so if you're wearing anything besides linen and you're super wrinkly, just take those extra 10-15 minutes in the morning, or my personal preference is to take that time the night before, especially if I'm going into the office the next day, and just steam your clothes. Even when I'm traveling, I'll bring a travel size steamer with me, and I'm telling you that in 5 minutes, you can take an outfit from looking mediocre to looking fresh and perfect and like it just got dry cleaned. I got my travel steamer on Amazon. I will link it in the description below if you are interested. It works very well. It is my trusty steamer and it does come everywhere with me. Okay, similar to the last one, but also very different. Please wash your clothes according to their care instructions. You wouldn't wash your body with dishwasher detergent because that would be silly. Similarly, why are you putting clothes in the washer and dryer that say hand wash only? That's also just as silly. Not only will your clothes last longer if you wash them appropriately, but they're also going to look better, they're going to wear better. We have all experienced, I know it is a universal experience, of putting something in the dryer and it just shrinks and shrivels up and it is no longer the same piece of clothing that it once was. Well, that's the exact point that you're trying to avoid. Take care of your clothes and they will take care of you. And that brings me into my next and final tip. If you have pieces of clothing that have lots of pillage on them, and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but it's when you get little fabric balls that are very small and they get all over your sweaters usually. These come from improper washing. They can also come from just wear and tear of you wearing a sweater or another piece of clothing. I like to take a little depilling machine and just run it over the clothing for a few minutes, and it really does refresh a garment and give it a second life. Now, sometimes though, clothing just gets pilled beyond belief, which by the way is why it's very important to wash your clothing according to the care instructions to avoid pilling. But sometimes when that does happen, I don't throw the piece away. I just also designate that as a home clothes item in my brain, and I no longer wear it outside of the house. So most days you probably won't have time to do every single one of the 9 tips I gave you here today, and that's totally okay. We all have busy lives. If that's your situation and you want to know which one of these tips to prioritize, then without a doubt I can tell you it is to be clean, and the second is to steam your clothes. If you are clean, your clothes are clean, and you steam your clothes, I promise you nobody will ever say that you look like a slob. If you found this video useful, please give this video a like, and if you like content like this, then please subscribe because I've got more coming your way. Otherwise, I'm gonna catch you cuties next time.